He's feeling fast forever.
We are live and waiting for Victor.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? How do we get rid of those announcements here? Shouldn't they just go away? Yeah,
No.
Oh, what'd I do?
X out. There we go.
Okay, cool. I fixed it. Man. Okay, so we're live, waiting on Victor Martinez to come in here. Should be here in any second, but I figured we'd just get on. We promised you a certain time. We're here a certain time, and things are rocking and rolling. As you know, it was a very eventful weekend. We also had some devastating news within the fitness industry of John Meadows passing away of a pulmonary embolism. His funeral will be this Saturday. I will be going there, and I'm actually going to go get a lift in beforehand because that's what John would do. At the gym we used to always train at with our good friend Paul Callahan, who owns Bullfrog Nutrition. We just talked about that this morning. And I wanted to real quick talk about where I was when I got the news. So I was actually just came off of fucking amazing. I've never won an overall in NPC show, Matt. Yeah. I've won many class wins. I've won I've won lightweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. I've won all those classes at big shows. Never won an overall. There was always someone better than me in another division. And we were pushed to the limit, and this guy went up against great guy, amazing guy, and he pushed me, and he was a heavyweight, big. They went with conditioning and dryness this day, and it was my day. And this kid will have his day. He'll be a pro one day, and he will do very, very well. He's a very good bodybuilder.
He'll have plenty of days.
Dude, he's 25 years old. That's why I'm going to Masters. Not stepping stage on an open stage again. But anyway, so Matt was like, what do you want to do after the show? And we originally were going to, perhaps stay. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to go home. My son has a soccer game, at 9 a.m. the next day. I don't want to miss it. So Matt was like, cool, I'm going to book a flight to Chicago, go see my girlfriend. She's out there right now.
Yep.
And so we drove through the night, got home at like 1 a.m. And since Matt was flying out, I took the driving privilege because I got to sleep a little bit. He was flying like at 6.
Yeah, and I appreciated that greatly.
Yeah, you snore. Motherfucker snores. So anyway, I was Thomas's first game. He scores. They end up winning 10-0 versus a pretty good team. The second game, they're playing fire. They're up 4-0. They're going to win. There's probably 10 minutes left in the game. And it was such a blowout. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to check my DMs on Instagram because I'm kind of bored. Thomas was out. And I love those kids, but I'm like, fuck them kids. So I see a post from Nick Trigilli that says that John Meadows died. And Nick is not the kind of guy who's going to post something unless he confirms, especially something of that magnitude.
Yeah.
So I immediately DM Nick. I'm like, dude, I know you're not a liar, but just making sure. And Nick texts back, yeah, dude, unfortunately. And so I dropped my phone and I'm standing there. Katie's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, John Meadows just died. And I start bursting out in tears. And the parents like, what's going on? And his friend John just passed away. And so I composed myself. And after the game, I explained that I took a picture of my son after the game. And we, I just explained to the kids, how precious life is. And, we go at any time. John went into sleep. And I'm guessing it was a painless death. And he just went to sleep and didn't wake up. Unfortunately, John has more parallels to me than any other person in this industry. Here's a guy who's not only we're both known for conditioning, we're both around the same height, but he also coaches his kids. He coaches the football team. He's active. He's involved. And he's just a freaking nice guy, just the nicest guy you'll ever meet. And, he unfortunately passed. And it's something that, that we as a community should get together and celebrate his life. And let's get Damien's question up there. I'd like to answer that if you can pop that in.
Yeah.
Why make a video about someone's death? Why not keep it private and keep it privately and heal? I wouldn't exploit. I don't think John was a friend of mine, and I kept getting DMs about what happened with John and also for his memory. People wanted to know. There's nothing clout based on talking about celebrating someone's life, talking about your experiences with them. I didn't do one of those videos like the real reason John passed. I'm not Generation Iron. I'm a friend of John's. John's a good friend of mine. Same reason that Paul from Bullfrog Nutrition did a post. It's a commemorative post. We mourn in private. Like I didn't get on here and and just spew nonsense. I said what happened. I said how I felt. And I said the good things about John. Think of it as a video eulogy. I would hardly call that clout. And Damian, what we're doing now, number one, we're killing time till Victor comes on here. Number two, it's something we need to address. It's something we need to address. Someone really important in our industry passed away. Like, if a famous football player passes away, the football team is going to make a tweet or a post, and every player is going to talk about their best memories with that person.
What's the difference between Mark doing a video on here where he gets a lot of views versus someone in the industry doing a picture on Instagram where they get a lot of views? What's the difference other than type versus speech? I would say speech is better because you can get the actual emotion of what the person's feeling versus type where it could just be baseless.
You can confirm emotion. You can definitely convey emotion. And I was emotional. I wanted to talk. Like, it was a roller coaster of events. A lot of people, Matt knows, but this month, this whole like last couple months, my mom OD'd, has been in, was intubated for 2 weeks. I had my wife just yesterday had breast explantation, which she got her breast implants taken out due to severe, breast implant illness. There's a lot of things going on. We also have jobs, we have kids, we have life. I had cancer, things are crazy. So sometimes I just want to talk, and that's what it is. So the bottom line is, we mourned, and we definitely cried on our own, and we held it together as best we could in conveying that, and that's why on Saturday when I work out at the gym we used to train at with Paul, there's no cameras there. It's just going to be us doing a leg workout. We're probably going to cry like little bitches the whole time. It is what it is. But we can't forget what John brought to the industry, the positives and the good that John brought, and everything that he stood for, and the fact that he's a good dad and his kids don't have a father anymore. And it also reminds us to cherish every moment, every memory with the person you're with the people around you, and always know that your legacy lives on, and John's legacy will be a positive one.
I'm going to pull up Jason's comment here. Mourn in silent, remember in public, so to never forget the person. Damian, and then you wrote that you agree with Jason. You don't agree with him because he's remembering in public, and that's what this video is. We're remembering John in publicly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it's you guys got it. What did Paul text me this morning? I just want to sit on the bench and talk to him for an hour again. Like, that was the thing. Like, we'd sit there and we'd just talk about training. We'd talk about life, and the thing is, like, there are legit relationships in this industry. There are legit relationships. And if you don't like that, Damian, like, you can go elsewhere. Like, if you don't like us talking about what we talk about, like, go. Like, you're not wanted here. If you think our motives are clout for remembering a legend in this industry, a guy who I was personal friends with, who I spoke to the Friday before he passed away. You don't think I'm going to address that? Come on, dude. Stop being a bitch.
Hi, Mark, longtime viewer. John Meadows' death has made me reevaluate whether competing is worth the health cost. I love to lift, but I'm not sure competing is worth the health cost. And
I want to address that too. How do we know lifting didn't prolong his life? Like, John had some congenital issues, man. Like, he had, I believe, his gallbladder removed, or spleen, something where his body couldn't process electrolytes. It's one of the reasons he had the conditioning he had. His body couldn't process things. So it actually helped him as a bodybuilder.
I mean, if it's true that he died of a pulmonary embolism, my dad had a couple of those. Luckily, he survived. I mean, he lifted casually. He's not like, a bodybuilder.
He's not John Meadows.
Yeah, he's not John Meadows. He's not a competitive bodybuilder by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't think
we should blame it on John. Was a smart bodybuilder. He never took it too far, and he's been on HRT only. How do we know it didn't prolong his life? Like, people die.
Yeah.
People die. We can't, every time a bodybuilder dies, it's, oh my God, it's because of the drugs. But every time someone else dies, it's, oh my God, it's because COVID's evil. Oh my God, it's because heart disease is a killer. But it's never because of their lifestyle choices. But God forbid someone's a bodybuilder, it all becomes about drugs.
Also, pulmonary embolisms. They're mostly genetic, which is why I get checked for them regularly.
Yeah, it's a genetic thing,
genetic
guys.
thing.
I mean, you can't just, every time a bodybuilder dies, it's not steroids. It's not always steroids. Sometimes, sure. I'm sure steroids were a determining factor, but how do we know it didn't prolong his life? How do we know he wouldn't have died at 42 if he didn't lift and take care of himself and eat healthy? Guarantee if he didn't eat the way he did and train the way he did, he wouldn't have lived that long. You know, I don't think that's a fair assessment. I don't think it's fair. I think it's completely unfair and unfounded. His colon, that's it. He had his colon removed, which is a pretty important fucking organ.
Oh yeah, big time. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm looking for. I'm just going through the comments here. Oh God, Brandon, COVID is deadly, Mark. You shouldn't joke about it. Take the vaccine, wear a mask. Scientists are, oh, fuck you. God, can we block that guy? You want me to block him? Yeah, I don't like him. I just don't like him. Bye, Brandon. Go somewhere else. Block user. God, I don't like that guy. That's easy. There we go. Let's get back to happy stuff. Congrats on the major win, Mark. Pro card is yours. Hey, man, it is. I'm going to give the hardest fight. I started with a great shoulder day yesterday. I feel great. I'm eating. My diet's on point. Everything's ready. I'm fucking stoked. This is going to be the best 4 weeks. Remember, I only prepped for 4 days for the stage show and then a week more. And I dropped 17 pounds stage weight to stage weight. So I weighed in at 208 for my first show. Then 7 days later, the next Saturday, I weighed in at 191. So it was awesome. It was an experience, and I can't believe I didn't die. Everyone was shocked. Yeah, I think the judges were like, because they're like, and the thing is, so they said, basically, I talked to the judges about what to do for North Americans. And remember, North Americans, like there's this kid who I beat in the Open, he's better than any masters at the North Americans I've ever seen. This kid was amazing. Oh, for sure. This kid was fucking yoked. This dude, if you gave him, I would say 2 or 3 weeks more conditioning, just get a little bit greater. It'd have been a hell of a show. He wouldn't have looked out of place on a pro stage. No, the kid's fucking huge. He had the shape, the look, he had everything going for him. Like, this kid's going to be something great. He's going to be amazing. I mean, I am honored because I'm going to see him do shit in this pro ranks. And I'll be like, I beat that guy. But, don't get me wrong. Super stoked you won. But if they gave it to him, I would have been like, no, I was expecting them to call his number. I couldn't have. But you know what? Given him shit for it. But you know what? We both stood there and talked to one of the judges, Kelly, after the show. And he explained it. He's like, look, dude, he's like, you guys are both fucking structurally sound. And Mark just brought better conditioning. It is what it is. It came down to conditioning. I mean, because we were very, very similar bodybuilders. I believe I had him beat in certain areas, but man, he was a big mound of muscle. That kid's going to do some special things, man. Wow. I was honored to be by his side. I was honored to be on stage with him. What's your biggest challenge to gain your pro card? Who shows up? I'm going to bring the best I can bring. I mean, it depends who shows up. I literally just have to get up there and bring what I got to be better than I was last week. I have to be better. I wasn't good enough. I only had 7 days to get in the shape I needed to get in. Now I have 4 weeks and we have a plan. We have diet in place. We have training in place. Everything's in place. There's no excuse for me to not be much better than I was last show. And with a guy like Courtney watching over, he's not going to let anything slip up. Mark doesn't let anything slip to begin with, but Courtney's going to let Mark know about the necessary adjustments and bring him in. Yeah, and when I have a plan, like I haven't had a plan in 8 years, I stick to it. Like there's nothing, there's no deviance. Like I wouldn't even eat a piece of lettuce if it wasn't on the program. I'm not even playing. Like that's how I am. I get dialed in and focused, and it's just an amazing thing. Let's see. Mark, could you address an earlier question from a health standpoint on cutting down to such a low body fat? It depends. I mean, how are you getting there? Body fat is definitely not, having low body fat's not unhealthy, and they're not holding it for a long period of time. If that's the case, why don't we talk about wrestlers and boxers? And why don't we talk about how low body fat and the water depletion? No one ever talks about boxers cutting weight in water. Do you see when the UFC holds their ceremonial weigh-ins, how freaking dead those guys look?
Yeah.
Like when Connor would have to, I mean, Connor probably walks around 180 or so. And he's not a tall guy, but when he was cutting down to 135 or 145 or 140.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and bodybuilders get this bad rap.
He looks skeletal.
Yeah. I mean, we look at the end of the day.
They look skeletal and they don't have muscle to eat away at. Bodybuilders get to that leanness and still their body can go and just like use their muscle as energy if they absolutely needed to.
Yeah. You know, that's a good point. You know, I honestly think that, so let's look at the opposite spectrum. So 70+% of society is overweight, and we're going to make fun and we're going to talk shit about the fucking 0.02% who are lean. Come on. I mean, it's an extreme, but I'll tell you what, at my body fat, which is right up there where John Meadows is, I have more energy. I have more mental cognition. I'm better than all y'all motherfuckers. You know, at the end of the day, it's how you get there.
Let's throw up Alan Roberts' comment right here. With genetic predisposition to embolism, eating healthy while maintaining cardiorespiratory efficiency, as well as HRT to maintain healthy levels, almost definitely added to his longevity and life quality.
Alan's right.
Going exactly back to what we said, and Alan's a man, smart guy. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Off topic, but do we ship to Croatia?
We ship to Croatia. Yeah, we ship anywhere they have fucking money. I mean, come on, man. And Jesus Christ, we're a business.
Do we want to go down this rabbit hole here?
Sure.
All right. You blocked him for a difference of opinion. What happened to freedom that you always talk about?
No. Hold on. There's no freedom of talk on my social media. If I see something that upsets me, if someone keeps bothering me, I'm going to block you, dude. This is not a democracy. It's not even a republic. This is a fucking Nazi regime. You know, at the end of the day, this is a happy place. If someone's going to badger me and insult me, I'm out. Like, and that guy was an annoying little dick. So, I mean, I want this to be a happy place. Now, we can have discourse, but if someone goes off and says, oh my God, and if someone's over the top crazy about COVID, I mean, you're not going to buy my shit anyway. You're going to wear a mask and lock yourself down for the next 20 years. So I'm good losing you.
Speaking of annoying little dicks, here's Damien again. Wow, wait, Tiger Fitness, anti-science, anti-COVID vaccine.
Well, I want to see, when the COVID vaccine gets actually approved for use and it doesn't keep like having side effects, and you guys don't even know if I'm vaccinated or not. There's a 50% chance I'm vaccinated. I don't talk about I'll tell you about my HRT, but I'm not going up here telling you if I have the chickenpox vaccine or the measles vaccine. That's a conversation between me and my doctor. Guys, I might be vaccinated. I'm not saying I'm not vaccinated. I'm saying that there are issues.
And if you ask again, we will sue all of you via HIPAA violation.
Yes. Well, I don't think HIPAA's gone now. HIPAA's dead. HIPAA's dead. How's that? Okay. So anti-mask, that is pro-science. If you believe that masks work, you are anti-science. Victor's here.
There we go. Let's bring him in. Hold on. Adding to stream.
You guys,
change that.
Where's your mask, Victor?
Yo, I am a mask.
bro, guys, welcome Victor Martinez. So here's the thing.
Going on, you guys getting all political and shit. And
man,
listen, you came in late and shit hit the fan, bro.
Hey,
what is that?
I remember seeing you on what was it, Generation Iron did a piece on you and your you spoke out against the lockdowns and stuff. I don't want to hear it, bro.
No, I can't confirm nor deny.
Oh my God, how you been, brother? How you been?
Listen, man, I'm gonna answer everything like the CIA and like my Miranda rights, you know.
Man, that's nuts, man. So what have you been up to, man? Obviously, you're still training hard. I see you're still very large.
Listen, man. After seeing you and your whole prep and you getting in shape and at the same time being a father, motivating your kids. That, I mean, people don't understand, you know. It's like, listen, if you're single, even if you just have a girlfriend, you don't have a family, I'm like, listen, that's cute. You got ready for a show. But when you turn it up like you did with a business, kids, a wife, you know, full-blown family, and you prep, that's what I call, you know what? That's work. That's work. And most people that don't have a fraction of that will bitch throughout the entire prep.
Man,
make any excuse out of not having fucking.
The crazy thing is, he didn't complain once the entire time. He didn't complain at all.
I know.
I was
and
happy.
Go ahead.
I was in a good mood, man, because I was seeing some shit I haven't seen in like 8 years. I'm like, dude, my body still works. You know, it was like taking Viagra and your penis finally gets hard after like 10 years. You know, you're like, oh my God, I can get it up.
Whatever you took, I want whatever. Give me a boatload of it, man. Whatever it was, I don't know, but it's just you didn't have signs of the usual 3 weeks, you know, feeling like crap.
Huh.
You know, you didn't have the usual dragging out, depletion feeling. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on prepping, and I was just watching, you know, I was watching, eating my carbs, eating my regular meals, you know, doing my basic stuff. And I'm like, okay, when's it gonna happen? And you know what? You did it great, you did it gracefully, and you did it at the same time, still staying upbeat with your social media, man. I can't even I don't want to talk, man, when I get ready for a show. I don't want to speak. I don't want to say a word, you know. I mean, unless you ask me a question, yes, but you were just on it, man.
I think it just comes down to just loving the process, man. I mean, it's mind over matter. The mind's a powerful thing, and you know, I've always, you know, I've been a kind of not even second tier, but just like kind of their bodybuilding, and you know, I'm 40 and I got my shit in order. I think I can balance things better, and I can continue to coach my kids at my high school, and I continue to, you know, do the dad stuff. So it was a great experience, and it was just to stay upbeat was not. I was so happy. I'd wake up every day and I'm like, I get to go do stuff today, you know. And it's just, and now that I know, I think we have even more of a kind of perspective on life after the bad news this weekend that John Meadows died. Now, did you know?
Rest in peace, man. This guy. I mean, I wrote something on him in regards to that, because John Meadows was, you know, anybody would do a show right away, people will either praise him on, you know what, you needed this, you lacked this, you missed this. And John Meadows never attacked the weakness or why you lost. You know, John Meadows was quick to just say, hey, you look great. I know next time you'll do better. You know what, you can try this. He'll just never criticize to a point. Well, he'll add to the freaking already, you know, down feeling that you're already feeling. He would just focus on, you know what, you're going to do better next time, and give you pointers at the same time. John Meadows will never just congratulate you or, you know, or leave you just kind of hanging at, you know, 4th or 5th place. He will give you, you know, advice at the same time. Like, he was the one that was one of the true, you know, one of the real guys in the sport, you know. There's a lot of people that, you know, I think it's seasonal. They're great 1 month, they're shitty the next 4 months. And John Meadows was always on point, was always kind. Again, I'm not going to say he was like you in your prep, but John Meadows always took the time, you know, always took the time, always had the smile. And it was shocking to hear the news.
Yeah, it hit me. I was just talking before you came on about when I heard about it, and you know, I'm going to be at his funerals this weekend. So, you know, pay some final respects to John, and just a great all around man, and a huge loss to the community. So
this weekend in Jersey, right?
It's going to be in Ohio. So
Ohio,
Greenton. Yeah, somewhere right outside of Columbus. So yeah, I'm going there with be there with Paul from Bullfrog Nutrition, and you know, we were all kind of, you know, pretty close. And I just talked to John last week before my show, you know, because John's the guy you want to talk to, because he's always happy. He always puts you in a good mood, you know, and he was always upbeat, always nice, always welcoming, always took your call. And yeah, it's gonna be tough. You're never gonna replace John, but you know, just a great guy. Just a great guy. But movie. So what have you been up to, Victor? Because you haven't been on stage in a minute. What is your life like now? What are you doing?
Oh man, it just keeps getting more boring as we keep going along. I don't know what's going on, but you know, I mean, I'm doing everything for my kids. You know, I always try to, you know, get up there, you know, to use the platform, social media, to get something to stick. And I don't know, it just hasn't been kind of, you know, hasn't been favoring me as part of you know, the supplement. You saw what happened. I had to kind of leave MHP. I didn't want to leave MHP. I didn't expect to leave it, but it was one of those changes that needed to happen because I was just basically, as I explained before, I was just a guy living in his parents' basement where, yes, I have a roof and a bed under my, you know, over my head, but that's all I can do is just live. I wasn't going anywhere. And it's not, you know, I can't blame the company. I can only blame myself. I mean, I think it's something that I think I got too comfortable, you know, with the loyalty part as opposed to my livelihood, you know.
Yeah.
That's all. And so it was a decision I had to make because even, you know, had I been single, and I mentioned that, I remember on my post, had I been single, I had no kids, I had the best contract in the world, you know, not in the world, at least in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You know, I had a great contract, and I'm not going to say they didn't take care of me or the sorts or anything like that. But, you know, things do happen, families do grow. And I thought, you know, I mean, it was just me, again, you know, it's one of those things. Assumptions are the greatest fuck ups of them all, you know.
Yeah.
It was just me assuming, you know, 16 years kind of meant something where I could kind of ask for something and say, hey, you know what, let's work on something and let's move up. You know, I really don't know. I mean, I see it happen with other companies. I probably seen it with some athletes or whatnot, but it just wasn't happening with me. And I don't know what it was. I can't speak for Gerard. Gerard and me have a different relationship than what the company was. And I just, I don't know. I just expected something to great expectation just led to a greater disappointment. And that's why I messed up. So I definitely fucked that up by not being more vocal sooner, kind of waiting for the change. And, you know, you're doing the same 2.0 cardio and expecting to lose body fat, and it's just not going to happen, you know?
Makes sense. Because, I mean, when you think MHP, you think Victor.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the guy. He's been the guy forever, from every product to everything. Like, he's been the driving factor. So do you have, are you looking at starting something else? Are you doing something else? Like, what are you?
I started off, again, a friend of mine was building his company. I was helping him. It was never the plan of actually to go with him. It was never anything that I was, you know, premeditating. Oh, well, if I'm no longer with MHP, this is going to be with you. It wasn't anything like that. It was just basically telling him, you know what, let's add your basic products, add this product, try this design, you know, just a friend helping a friend out, like I would if somebody was to do a gym, you know, or any kind of business. And when the months and the weeks kept going on, that I was just like, man, I'm barely freaking making it here. You know, conversations I would have with him, and obviously is out now because I don't like to complain. I don't want to complain. You know, anything with MHP, as I said, I was very grateful. But when you present something to the boss, and it just kind of, I don't know what, I can't really say where he was. I don't know where the company's been or anything like that of the sorts, but I know they couldn't do more than what they already have done, and that's it. So when I said, man, I got to make a move, and my friend said, well, I mean, you know, I just started my company. You know, you come in, I can give you be a third partner. I didn't jump and say hooray. So that's a company right there. I sent you a shirt, Mark. So
Oh, awesome. Okay.
a couple guys.
What is those Superhero Labs?
Yeah, Superhero Labs.
Yeah. We can discuss, you know, if once it gets going, Tiger Fitness and all that good stuff, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be freaking helpful as hell, man. Because again, you know, you count on your followers, you count on your friends, but it's just I don't like doing that. You know, I don't like doing that because if somebody does it, you know, I appreciate it. But I don't like.
You put in the work, bro. It's time to call in some favors. I mean,
Yeah, I know. That's I
those
thought
favors
that
you've been doing for
favors.
everybody.
I know, but it's weird because you used to be able to cash out on favors, and now I don't know. I don't think it works that way anymore. You know,
Oh, it does with the right people. With the wrong people, you just
with
got
the
to
right
get rid of them.
people. Yeah, I guess with the right
Got to
people.
get them out of your life, man.
Yeah, well, I don't have too many people in my life right now. I just kind of, like I said, I stay home and work on the kids and work on what I'm going to do next. You know, I've been negotiating a lease for a gym. Oh, yeah. So anyways, to leave that out of it, it was I signed with my friends. So we're partners and we're trying to find ways to kind of really get the brand out there. You know, ultimately, my ideal plan is to have my Dominator Nutrition brand, which will be geared towards men 35 and over. You know, to
All
take
about
care. Yeah, to, you know, work on any issues.
the Masters brand.
Basically, the Masters brand. You know, those guys that you don't necessarily have to be a competitor or anything of the sorts, but it will have definitely a lot of products for competitors to keep them, you know, healthy, high blood pressure, anything, you know, liver, kidney, anything organ, you know. So that being said, you know, that's what I'm looking to definitely pump up, which is the brand Superheroes. And go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm listening. I'm just playing with my microphone.
Yeah.
I'm over here. I'm very fidgety. Matt can confirm.
Yeah.
Extremely fidgety. I'm always moving. Sitting down is weird for me, so I apologize.
No. I got you, man. But also on the other note, I've been working on a lease to get a gym. You know, I've been waiting.
Oh, you're fine because you were telling me about that years ago.
Oh man, I've been looking for a location for 8 years.
Yeah, it was about 5 years ago, Matt.
Yeah, and I've been looking for about 8 years. You know.
Did you find a spot?
I found one first. Went to a deal. Tried to do a deal. We finally came up with a purchase price. Met the landlord because he had to approve the sale in order for you to, you know, go with the sale with the owners. It was approved, and I decided to do something nice, and then wind up biting me in the ass. You know,
Yeah.
it was with somebody in the industry, again, without saying names, because it's just, you know, a shittiness happens. The person needed a lease. They needed a business so they can in turn have a visa so they can stay in the country longer. So I brought them into the deal, and they did some backdoor stuff where they try to buy the gym behind my back, you know. And so when the landlord entertained that, I basically said, you know what? I don't want any part of this. I walked away. I'm like, this gym wasn't supposed to be mine anyways, you know?
Wow.
So left that. So, you know, fast forward, pandemic happened. I've been looking at a lot of locations that have closed. There's one in particular that I liked in my neighborhood. And I said, man, I know I want this lease. I know I want this gym. I know I want this location, but unfortunately, it's weird because I've done a few leases and, you know, a few businesses signing leases, and I never usually go myself. Not because I can't handle it, not because I cannot make a deal. It's because usually the color of my skin changes the realtor or the landlord's approach into
Really?
giving me a lease. Yes, and it has happened. My muscle maker girl lease was done by my lawyer. He showed up. I try to never show up. He's white as, you know, as Irish can be. And so he's always been the guy to show up, and then I'm the guy that it's really my business, you know. So that's how I'm approaching the other gym. I approached it where I put myself to go in first, but then when I saw the guy's look, I said, man, I don't trust this guy, and I'm gonna get one of my white boy friends to come in as a secondary interest in the gym. And guess what? The guy said, we got somebody, and it's somebody else, and guess who it is? It's my friend. He's entertaining my friend with the lease now. Little does he know, if when we do sign, I'll be the one popping out from the background. And if that works out, looking at opening, next year after all this crazy different variants keep going on.
Man, they're gonna play this shit out as long as they can, bro. I mean, we just gotta be like, okay, we're moving on. Yeah, everybody needs a white friend.
Yeah, everybody needs a whiteboard. Come on, man.
Everybody needs just a white guy. Like you need one. It's definitely something we all should look at.
Listen, you gotta learn how to play the game, and if you go in stupid, a lot of times, you know what? Unless you throw in stacks and write big checks, unless you're super famous, people at the end of the day, all they care about is the money. Are they gonna get paid? Or are you the kind of person or image or look they want for their place? So it's real. It's still happening. It's gonna happen to the end of time, because that's just our society. That's what we live in.
Human nature.
Human nature.
I mean, chalk it up to ignorance, human nature. There's a lot of things, I think. But so we last event we did during the height of the pandemic, by the way, you still train hard. Like you train as hard as anyone. Are you done competing 100%? Like what are you training just because you love it? Do you have like some hidden agenda to come back? What are you doing?
Definitely love it. You know that I love it. I can't say I don't. I love bodybuilding. I love keeping myself, as healthy as I can be. For one thing, I notice is if I do stop, weird things start to happen, and that's why I never ever took more than a week or two off a year. From training, just training, period. I can never take off one in a week because once you start hitting the third week a month, your shoulders, your rotator cuff, your joints, everything starts hurting more. So I feel a body that's not in motion is just gonna break down on itself, especially when we've been moving like a freight train all throughout our entire career. So stopping for me is not an option. So as far as competing goes, I did the last Arnold I did was last year, 2020. I wanted to do Australia. It was going to be my first time there. I was eventually going to end it with Brazil, but shutdown happened. And yes, I mean, I would compete. I was competing because a client was paying me to compete.
Okay.
So it was one of those things that it worked out, because was I going to compete on my own dime? It was impossible because I didn't have a dime to compete, so it was not realistic for me to prep for a show, daughter schools and camps and all this is coming up. And here I am using it to eat my 6 meals because I do my off season with 4 meals and to slow down my metabolism and keep the weight on. And come pre-contest, I pump it up to about 6 meals. And it was just one of those things that I wasn't going to do it, and that's why you noticed before I was going to Kuwait.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kuwait basically, took care of my entire prep. They house you, they feed you, everything else. It's great, but the only thing, and the biggest thing was staying away from my kids. It wasn't, panning out for me that way. I can't do it because my first half of my kids, my 28-year-old, my 20-year-old, and my 14-year-old. They missed out. I missed out on a lot of their, childhood things because I was flying and traveling and prepping out of the country. And it's just, I can't do that again because you can see, growing up with them and being involved with them and seeing how you are with them is kind of something I always thrive to do. Is I don't want to miss anything of my kids,
I did the same thing, man. I missed a lot of their childhood when I was building these businesses. And right now I'm like, can't do it. I can't emotionally do it. I can't. I can't. I understand. I do. But I mean, you still bring some ungodly shape and size. Now, what do you think your best showing ever was? Which competition was it? The Arnold?
Oh, I mean, I have to say the '03 Night of Champions was one because it was my first real structured pro prep where I wasn't second guessing anything. I had just hired Chris Aceto to do my prep. Always had the same trainer, but working with Chris was it was just a turning point because now I'm getting a full diet that I don't have to worry about my macros or anything of the sorts. It was just eat this, follow this, and continue your training. And it was just so structured that I felt great for this Night of Champions. Then after that, I will have to say the '06 Olympia, '07 Olympia, Arnold and Olympia were definitely one of my favorites. In 2011, I decided to do that alone, and I was able to crack the top four, top five at the Olympia, and then win the Arnold. So that 2011 was a different turnaround because I did that one pretty much alone.
Now I've been following you, before we started talking and becoming friendly, when I was at Weeder back in the early 2000s, way back when you were first starting. And, your structure and shape and what you brought to the stage was just something special. I actually think if there's one guy other than Flex Wheeler, who I think is the uncrowned Mr. Olympia, it's you, because you brought something, you bring something special to the stage. You bring flow, you bring grace, you know how to pose, you know how to hold it, fullness, size. You've shown you can nail conditioning. And that's what's so remarkable. Now, throughout your career, you've had a ton of adversities, like it's torn quads, family issues. I remember making a comment like, if Victor, it just seems like something's working against him because every time you're the guy who's going to win, you tear a quad or something crazy that I don't even want to bring up what happened. And I felt so much pain for you because you were the guy. Like, I'm like, this guy's just going to kill everybody. How did you deal with that emotionally? Like, because it seems like on the outside looking in, it was like, wow.
You just have to deal with it, man, because at the moment when it is happening, it's like, okay, there's just two things that could happen. I could crack and just say, forget it, let it all burn, or just, keep going through it and just go through the fire, and with everything that was happening, it was, I couldn't just give myself a chance to stop working out, stop training, and start focusing on the situation because it will break me. It will break me to a point that I would be useless to myself, useless to my family, and ineffective on the stage. So it was one of those decisions that I have to be hardcore and be like, you know what? If I'm going to go through all this pain, I'm going to channel the pain and use it, just to push harder in the gym and show up. So a lot of times my inconsistencies with my condition were due to the fact that I was going through all these problems. So for me, showing up was like already an accomplishment, Forget, not getting getting that shape, getting that dryness or anything like that, because getting to the show was probably the hardest thing, and I never wanted to ever say I'm doing a show and then pull out from the show. It only happened one time before at the 2008 Arnold when I tore my quad,
Yeah, that was devastating. Actually, I was like, he's going to kill everybody this year. And then quad tear. And it was nuts. So
I was ready 6 weeks out for that one. And
how did you tear your quad? Was it on a leg press or a squat or?
It's weird. None of my injuries happen ever at the gym, I don't believe, except for the slight pec tear.
How did you injure your quad?
I had done legs already. I was feeling that pinch. I usually feel a pinch on your shoulder or your elbow. Yeah. Is that slight pinch. And if you push too hard on that pinch, is automatically a tear. And I got through the leg workout. I stretched as much as I could, but that pinch just kept being a bugger, And went uptown, parked my car, double parked, was getting a ticket, and I did one of those explosive moves to just get to the freaking car, and at the explosion, I literally just tore my freaking tendon right off the bone. Like it was.
Damn ticket cops.
Especially in New York.
Yeah,
Oh, so he told me it was just in New York. It's hard. You can't. If you drive a truck, you're gonna pay $20 more extra for parking. You know, you can't drive without Waze. You have to drive Waze even if you're going 2 blocks, because by the time you notice the end of the month, you have like 10 speeding tickets because they lower the speeding local. I think from 30 down to 25. You get a ticket at like 20.
Everywhere, they're tracking everything.
I don't know how anybody lives in that shithole, man. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. No, New York has gotten very shitty, you know, and it's I still go in, and you know, and I leave right away. I tend not to again drive without my Waze. You have to always be vigilant with these cameras. There's a red light camera here. If it's yellow and you go through it, they count that as a red light, and you get a ticket, and it's just obnoxious. And then with the mask, the whole mask thing, my friend didn't give a damn, so we never used the mask in his gym. And again, I know there was a debate with you guys right now with the whole mask thing. You know what? I wasn't, you know, going to the gym, making out or having whisper conversations with anybody. You know, I was keeping my distance. I was working out anyways. I'm not gonna, you know, I have asthma. I'm not gonna wear a mask and pass out hyperventilating because I have a mask. I refuse to train with it. And if the gym is too packed, I hang out, wait a little until it clears out, and pick my corner. And I will pick a corner with a certain machine, and I will do 2 or 3 exercises and pick another corner, and I'll be done, as opposed to always floating around and moving. So
yeah, we're not going to do those pesky things like particle size. So speaking of the gym training, what is your training style? Has it changed? Has it evolved? Has it always been the same? What is your
evolved? Definitely evolved. I worked. You know, you ever had the honor of working out with Charles Glass?
I have worked out around him and never with him.
Okay, when you do that, you're gonna see what I mean, because I've trained with, you know, George is a diet guru, but George actually knows a lot about training as well. I worked with Victor Munoz for many years, and you know, he knows when to go heavy, he knows when not. Also Charles, but one of the things I always focus on was hitting that right angle and getting as much to pre-exhaust and really give that muscle high intense workout without loading up the weight, you know. And one of the things I noticed with weights, and whoever goes heavy and trains banging their weights uncontrollably, I noticed, and I keep note of this from, I think I've been keeping note of this for the last 15 years, especially since social media has gotten so big, that the same people that train with the weights, you know, uncontrolled, are the same people that are not training as good today, you know, because again, it has an effect to a point. You can handle that while you're on gear and all that stuff, but you come off it, you can't do a single move because your joints are just so mangled that unless you're on something, you can't train, you know.
So I think the take home is take more steroids. That's what I got.
Well, you know, you don't want to take more. You don't want to take more. Definitely not more.
It's about minimum effective dose.
Yes, because you're going to be on it. Listen, you competed all these years. You've been on it. You know what? You want to go completely natural. You know what? It's going to take you a year or two to really, really settle down your body. It gets to a point where you do a therapeutic amount that you can still train, go heavy enough, and you know, preserve yourself. You know, you have to preserve. I mean, you're not going to be doing, you know, Olympia cycles anymore. And if you are, you know, just get ready to, you know, face the freaking shit when it hits the fan. It's gonna happen. You can't avoid it.
Yeah, it's very, if you continue to do it, I keep, you know, that's the thing about it. If you look at, and I don't want to throw shade at people, but if you look at like the winners of, let's say, the North Americans or Masters USA, the 40 plus, and then you look at the winners of the Open, and they're all competing for the same quality pro card, right? A pro card's a pro card. They don't have like a Masters pro card. It's a fucking pro card. But the the quality of lifters past 40, unless you've already turned pro, like you're, you know, like you're Phil or you or somebody like that, right? Like the bottom line is after 40, you gotta pay more attention to your overall health. And I think a lot of people just stop in their mid 30s because they've gone so hard. Like, you know, my fear with people like the guy who pushed me to my this heavyweight, who I challenged in the overall, like he could have won. It was a toss up between conditioning and size. And lucky they went with conditioning. But I mean, my fear for someone like him is that he goes too hard in his 20s and 30s. And then when he's 40, his body's burnt out and he's just a fat dad. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't keep up with it. He doesn't realize his potential. So I think a lot of people just put that pedal to the metal and they just go hard, and it's never ended well. You know, I'm not going to name names, but we saw what happened with Dallas. You know, it's like young kid pushed it a little too hard, and obviously his health wasn't there. You know, and that's what scared me with these young guys who come on the scene and they have all this mass and they're like 23 years old. First thing that comes to mind is you might want to just temper it a little bit, because when you're my age, you're gonna be feeling it internally and externally.
Yes, and that's one of the things. Again, you have to come to realization that it is going to happen, because you have been training, you have been doing all the work, you have been putting your body through, you know, excruciating workouts and injuries. After injuries, obviously, when you're younger, you recover from them faster, but those same injuries will come back to haunt you later on.
Oh yeah.
And there's no way around it. So if they don't start working, you know, smart in the gym, as far as, you know, just keep the form, do enough, you know, poundage, and not worry about, you know, making, you know, personal records and personal this and personal that, because everybody who's doing that won't be able to even do a Jane Fonda workout later on, you know?
Yeah, all the people who I used to compete against when I was younger, right? They're all done. They don't compete anymore. You know, there's shows that I've lost to the guy, and they're a few years younger than me too, and they're done. They've been done because they're not looking at you when you're looking at being a bodybuilder. I think the one thing is you have to love training. I had one guy DM me, like, and he used to do all these cycles, and he's like, yeah, and I just can't get the motivation to train when I'm not on a heavy cycle. I'm like, then you need to find a new fucking hobby.
Yeah.
Because if you don't love the game, if you don't love lifting without drugs, you're not gonna be able to last. Like, because you can't stay on a heavy cycle for the rest of your life. So, and a lot of your gains are made when you're not on, like, or they're at least preserved. Like, you can't just go on a 12-week cycle, gain 30 pounds of muscle. Let's say 30, not 30, gain 20 pounds of muscle, and then stop training hard or stop really paying attention, and then expect to keep any of it. So it's an ongoing just negative feedback loop.
Exactly what it is, you know, and that's why I tell people, listen, you have to train hard whether you're on it or off it, because if you keep training hard while you're off it, when you go back on, you're gonna get a lot of good quality gains.
Yes.
But if your mentality changes when you're off, and you know you're off, and now you're going less to the gym, you don't feel like it. I think I go to the gym more often when I don't feel like going to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, and then the days off are days that I feel great, and I know I could do a workout, but I'll force a day off. Yeah. Because, you know, it's needed, you know. So people need to realize that, you know, you have to evolve on your training. You can't, you know, you can feel 25, you can look like you're 25, but you know what, you're not going to be 25 in reality, you know, and that's it, you know, it's just not going to happen, or 30 or whatever, you know. But guess what, you can preserve yourself to still, you know, have a good, healthy, you know, knee or back or anything of the sorts, you know, because those are the aches and pains that do come back to haunt you. And if you don't change your training technique, I still see deadlifting more like stiff leg deadlifts online and on social media.
Yeah.
People still can't even deadlift right, and that's probably the simplest movement you can do, and they still can't do it. You know, they do these weird shoulder movements, you know, where they're just mangling the rotator cuff, and again, it's all for the gram, and I understand that, but I tend to just do that to show it to either my friends or my clients to like, why would you do this? And they will ask me, hey, are they doing it wrong? And I said, no, they're just doing it different. I don't say, if your muscle's responding and whatever, you know what is responding, but there's always a better way, a right way, and a longevity way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you look at like the pros now, you look at who's lasted, like Dexter never went really heavy. He competed up till 51. Brandon goes heavy, but very smart, fucking weird angles. Like he turns different machines. Like he's big on angles. Look at you. You look at the guys who are still in the game, even Phil, like I've trained with Phil. Phil's not going to wow you with powerlifting weights. But then you look at the guys of the past who had a lot of injuries, like our good friend Branch, like he trained insane and it worked for him. But I'll ask him when I see him in September. We got to set, but I'm sure his body hurts a little more than Dexter's. There's different training styles, but could he have looked that way training like Dexter? I don't know. Different genetics, different people. And it worked for him, obviously. I mean, he won the most muscular at the Olympia. He won the Arnold. But yeah, if you look at the guys now, they're training a lot less impressive, so to speak.
Yeah, I think I saw Guy Cicerino say something on that behalf that, people not training as hard. People not training like, he said, like me, which I thought it was funny. Not training like me or Branch or Ronnie Coleman. And I said, well, I mean, I think people are scared to train like Ronnie Coleman because they don't want to wind up that way, and it's just he's the king, he's the master. He said he will do it again. Ronnie is Ronnie. He's a master, but training as crazy as he did would never guarantee somebody the physique he had. So people misconstrued the whole, I'm not going to push as hard as him. It's kind of like the Arnold t-shirt, I don't want to look like you. Don't worry, you won't, you never will,
Yeah, who knows what Ronnie would have looked like if he trained like you? He could look better. We don't know. We honestly don't know, but whatever he did made him the GOAT. So
made him the goal. He pushed hard, but who knows? A lot of those injuries again were those small injuries that you never expect, but they do come back to haunt you. And when it comes to nerve injuries, I think those are the ones that worry me the most. When I flex a muscle and I'm not getting that flare, I'm not right. That's when I go to the electrical stem. I go into active release work. Acupuncture, so a lot of the things I do is definitely the alternative medicine to avoid having to, go to the doctor last minute because I wasn't taking care of myself with these small little issues, digestion, a lot of people don't forget about that. I know people who haven't gone to the bathrooms, they're not even doing a show or training or dieting low carb. And they haven't gone to the number 2 for like a couple of days, which is bad when you're older,
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's small things like that they have to pay attention to. And, angles. I saw a guy, which was something ancient I haven't seen in a while, do a behind the neck barbell press. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Then after that, I see him do skull crushers with, 245s. I'm like, dude, if I see you here next month, I'll be surprised. And
Yeah, I can. So moving to another thing, let's say you're 6 weeks out from a show last year. What does a typical pre-contest diet day look like? Like, let's say it's Monday, it's a training day. What normally would you eat on a contest diet?
Contest diet will definitely one of the things I'm so fixed on eating the same. I've been eating the same since I've been like 19 years old, 20. Nothing really changes. I think the amount of steak I eat per week has changed. I've gone from every day to about maybe twice a week only, and use them for those heavy load workouts, unless I go to one of my favorite steak houses. But definitely start my week with my cardio, my fasted cardio. I love going to the gym, do my fasted cardio. Babe, let me get the portable charger. Yeah, one of the things, the fastest cardio, I love doing it because of the abs. I get to do my abs, my cardio. I feel light. I feel great. It's early in the morning. Then the first meal is usually 12 to 14 eggs.
Egg
Five,
white.
yeah, well, five of them. I do about four of them with whole eggs, so four
Okay.
yolks. Sorry.
Oh, that's cool. I got 3 of them. They just happen
Yeah,
to be.
yeah. So yeah, I would do the eggs with the oatmeal, 1 cup of oatmeal. Still use the Splenda. You have the wire, baby. I need the wire, please. Yeah, I need the wire, please, baby. Yeah, I need. Bye, mommy. Yeah, so the 1 cup of oatmeal. I'll use the Splenda still. Usually one. I would sometimes add fruit depending how close I am to the show. Well, you said 3 weeks, so in 3 weeks I reduce the amount of fruits I put in it. So I just keep it basically just plain in water, nothing else. Second meal usually about 8 ounces of chicken with my half a cup of rice. I do at least 2 salads per day, with the rest of the meals having vegetables. So with the chicken meal, I have 2 chicken meals and 2 fish meals.
Okay.
So that puts me already at 5, and the last meal being either the same as meal 1 uh, or this just the protein shake, and that's again it's depending how I look, how I feel, because if I feel my fullness is not there, I will make my last meal again an egg white meal or just fish again. So that'll be my third. So I do fish 2 to 3 meals, and chicken or steak 1 and 1. Again, depending how I look. Everything depends where I'm at, how I look. But as far as the amount or the type of meals, they pretty much stay within the same kind of
Actually, not that much food.
proteins. Yeah, nothing crazy, nothing
Ah,
crazy. I never force feed. I always ate enough. I think the most I ever ate was in '06 and in '07, and that was because my metabolism was just running crazy, so I would eat about, I believe, 12 ounces, per meal, and sometimes I would eat a pound. So I would cook a pound. If I got hungry in between meals, I would just load it up and ate a pound, because I knew my body was hungry. It just, my next meal is not till an hour and a half, 2 hours. I will eat that pound, and it was different. Bye, baby. Have a good day. So
that's not crazy. That's not crazy at all. Other than breakfast was pretty fucking big.
Yeah.
yeah. The 8 ounces for protein. That's it.
14 for me and egg white. Yeah, for me. So moving on. Okay, so here's the question everybody wants to know, because everybody wants everybody's opinion on it. Olympia this year, you got Big Ramy holding the crown. You got Brandon trying to come up, regain his crown. I don't know where Phil stands. I haven't heard he's doing it or not. Kai threatens to compete every year. I think we just got used to it by now. Who do you see winning the Olympia? What are your picks?
I mean, Phil, I don't think Phil is just moonlighting. I think Phil is definitely good to come back.
Okay.
Phil's definitely good to come back. I mean, Brandon, you can't count him out. He's an Olympian already. He's still young. I hope they make the right changes to bring up that he has to be careful, because he can't just put on extra size without sacrificing his shape.
Yeah, his conditioning was what kept him in the game last year. If he tried to size Ramy, I mean, nobody can go size the size of Ramy.
Well, it's gonna go back to the old Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler era, where everybody was just trying to be too big, to the point that most people showed up out of shape, because the conditioning would be off. So I think Big Ramy he just needs to come in a bit sharper to maintain that title. Big Ramy should leave size out of the equation. I don't think he should worry about any size at all. So you have Ramy on, defending his title. You have Phil that if he comes back, I think Phil's looking great. You see his posting on his midsection.
It looks great. And I had a very similar surgery. Took me 2 years for the swelling to go down. So I told Phil, I told him this, like I talked to Phil. I'm like, dude, I want to see you again after another year of healing. I think Phil at his best, I don't think anyone could beat him.
Yes. Yeah, and I think Phil has a good structure, good muscle bellies. I don't think I know they want to play a lot. The third place finisher was the Hadi Chopin. So his conditioning is great. His shape is slightly off. I know that Iranian fans. I know I have a lot of fans. That guys, listen. This is just not talking bodybuilding here.
We love him. We're just
yeah. Again, he's great. He brings in good muscle. But again, he has to be careful to bring in that upper body up to par to his legs. It needs to be right up there. He can't leave it lagging. You have Bonac that you can't really forget about him. Last year he just looked like maybe 5 pounds lighter, and with him you can tell, especially when he's standing next to guys like Phil and these taller guys. So when he's short and he has 5 or 10 pounds less, it's very noticeable. So he's definitely still a top player. I still think there's going to be a lot of guys coming up. You have Labrada, that dark horses coming up. I think he's been looking good. Ian Valerie, I want these guys to come up. These are, I have the ones that will be there automatically, and then I have the hopefuls, the dark horses that I want to be there because it changes the name of the game, and I hope they create that impact just to create more of interest back at the Olympia, because that repetitive winning Olympia, I think those years, I think they're gone, because it's kind of, for me, I never thought it was fun at all. I mean, if I knew somebody was going to win already, it was just kind of like, all right, it's cool, but it just doesn't make it, interesting, So I know Rami's got his crown, on the line. If he doesn't come in with that shape, who else? You talking?
Akeem.
Akeem Williams is definitely going to be one of those guys that are going to be rattling that top 6 placing. He did look great. Same thing with him. It's just he's got to bring in that back detail, with Akeem, and but he's one of the strongest guys up there. Trains again. He's got that great form, trains heavy, sticks to the form. Haven't heard about any injuries. So Akeem Williams is definitely one of the guys that can crack the top 6. He was very close last year, and I will not doubt that he will be one of those guys. And he's one of those mass, monsters with shape. So I mean, who else is missing? I mean, a lot of guys. Who else qualified? I think you had I think I named most of the guys that qualified so far.
You named the ones who I see in the top 5. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
You named the top 5. I mean, who I think have a chance for the top 5 for sure.
Yeah. Again, and you want some of these other guys to do great. It's but the judges have their favorite, people have their favorites, and it's kind of hard to crack a favorite when they're consistent. They keep coming back every year. So one of these guys, the dark horses I just named, that really have to come in with something different, very impactful. And I know Rowley was usually one of the top 5, top 6, but him not faring so well at the Chicago is definitely going to be is one of those things that's going to hurt him. And I
have him outside of the top 6 unless he does something really special. There's too much talent up there this year, and Rolly's hit or miss. He's either the best bodybuilder, most fullest, driest, sharpest man in the world, or he's what the hell did he just do? And I don't know whose fault that is. I'm not going to blame it on anybody, but like if he can figure out how to come in consistently, man, that guy he's dangerous.
Yeah, and he's always had the size, always, but always had the lack of detail, and that's where it comes down to him. Because you bring Rolly without even a smidget of some of his size, sacrifice some of it, and just come in like he did at the night at the New York Pro. I mean, it's gonna be a different story. I mean,
Absolutely.
he's just gonna be, sending some of these guys home, but. Yeah, conditioning is the name of the game. It's still staying in Orlando, so I still wish it was in Vegas. But
It's a sure thing in Orlando. At least we know we could have a show.
yeah, we can have a show with all this pandemic, but I'm sure they'll make the decision later to change it. My sister does live there. I get to visit family, so it's not bad for me at all. It's just once the show's done, basically the weekend is done.
Yep, exactly. So
yeah, that's the only thing. So let's see. It should be a good run, and then obviously, I think the Arnold. What is it? 2 weeks before that?
the Arnold is, I think, 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of guys in very, very good shape because now it's not just you gotta remember. Usually, it's just the Olympia after Tampa, which usually gives them about a month and a half before the show. And last year it was even more. It was even longer. But I think this time, I think we're going to see a lot more guys in top shape because of the Arnold being 2 weeks out.
You're so right. I think people don't understand. Like, if you can nail it, like you come in better the second show. I think when you have 3 shows, that's when you start to fall apart. But you see these guys do the Olympia, come back and go overseas and do the Saudi show back in the day and all that. They look so much better because they've had that extra week. And as someone who and you're able to make corrections, like maybe you did something wrong, maybe you're off. Okay, you make a correction and your body's still in that corrective state, adaptive state. I agree. I didn't even think about that. We're going to have some damn good conditioning at the Olympia.
Yes, sir.
Yes. It's going to be very good conditioning. It's going to be great. I think the Arnold's going to be great. The Olympia is going to be great. So I think it's going to be some great shows coming up. I don't know what's coming up after as far as qualification shows. I don't know if they have Prague still on, any of those shows. But a lot of guys, I think is going to be a lot of early qualifications for next year. But the buck stops there at the Olympia in Orlando, and I can't wait to be there. Hopefully I could scout myself a ticket.
I'm sure we could find you a way.
But
let's do this. Let's plan on as soon as now. I plan on earning my pro card at the North Americans. I'm gonna kill these old people.
Be a show to watch. It's gonna be a show to watch.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But once we get that done, let's set up a trip. Matt is from New York. Well, let's set up a trip. Go visit Victor. You can visit your family.
Sounds good.
And that way we can pay for your trip out of the company and we can have a good time.
Man, come on, man. We do a nice little gym run, depending on how long you guys stay here. We do a nice little gym run. Obviously, hit the the Mecca, Steve and Bev's powerhouse. You have a few great gyms around here.
Go do an event in Aries too. Go visit Patrick. Patrick's good people.
Gotta see Patrick. Patrick is great. We can go to do the Apollon workout.
Yeah, I'm down. So let's do that. Let's plan on that. Hopefully, we'll know if we could do it on September 2nd. But let's do that.
Right now is that show. Is the North Americans. How are you feeling? I mean, so far. I mean, this will be. You have what, like a four?
I have 4 weeks. I have 4 weeks, and right now, it's gonna be. I mean, I came so far. I only prepped for 2 weeks for the last show, so I have 4 weeks. Let's just say that my body has not eaten like a bodybuilder in a long time. Yeah. And just getting in frequent meals, the ability to carb up, get hard. I know where I could take my weight. I know how to cut water without cutting water, so to speak. I spent the last 5 years boxing. So I was around these guys who literally have to drop water and then fight. Dropping water and then fighting is much harder than dropping water and then posing. So I learned a lot of techniques, not using any diazide or aldactone or anything crazy to drop water. And I put them into work this week. Literally went from 208 scale to 191 the next week. Came in, I was on stage at around 200 pounds because I carved up, brought some water along with it. So I get 4 weeks to build muscle. I haven't trained like a bodybuilder. I've been boxing and shit for years. So I'm interested to see what happens. But I'll tell you this, if they're basing this show on conditioning and I'm going up against most masters, I think I have a great shot. This is not a knock on anybody else. This is just like, I think that I have to be confident. And every day I'm working, my training has been beyond what it's ever been because I have a goal. I have a focus. Again, like you said, my meals are laid out, outlined. I'm not thinking. My buddy, I normally do my own stuff, but I have my good friend Courtney English. He's a pro physique guy.
Okay.
So I'm going to come in with a great upper body, great taper, and no legs. Just kidding.
Never come on.
Look, man, nothing felt better than posting that picture and seeing guys like you come on there and just show love because, you know, it was really, you know, I was done competing and you know, the reasons, because I was a dick and I had to grow my businesses and I wasn't being a good husband, but it's good after 8 years.
I think that move was a great move because let's say you had just focused on your competing before and not your business. I don't think you'll be able to sustain your prep right now and doing what you're doing and winning the shows and having that road to being a pro. So it's one of those things you have to make the right decision. It's you can compete at your best and not being able to focus, worrying about bills when you should be, you know, working to later on, you know, focus on your bodybuilding and not worry about bills, you know. So I think you make the right move. And like you said, I think one of those things that definitely hits home is you have to have a happy family, and that makes it all the most fun, you know, when everybody's okay, everybody's taken care of, wife is happy. It's a whole different world of triumph, you know. Once you reach that goal, it's just so much better, you know, because when you win it and you did it at the sacrifice of, you know, taking time away from your family, I seen them giving them bad attitude and all the sorts, it's just takes away because you have a win, but little do you know that, you know, somebody or certain people are pissed off at you. You
can't have that. So where can they find your new brand? And again, I'll shoot you a text about the new brand and if you guys are ready for distribution. And where can they find that? Where can they, if they're living under
we have the IG handle, superherolabs.com. I mean, that's the website. The IG is Superhero Labs with a Z at the end. They can get on it there. Again, we just right now in the process of signing some ambassadors, and when we sign ambassadors, basically they're going to be athletes that sign up that want to compete. So I want to help them prep at the same time as being part of the superhero team. So if they join and they want to compete, that's one of the benefits that they do get. And let's see if I could get those sales up, I think I could move on to some bigger projects, other things, and you know, still looking at hosting my show this year. I have to go see Steve about it. I missed last year, Legends Championship. This year it's getting very close. I mean, I usually have it August 28th. The venues I have chosen before have been these colleges, and you know, the bureaucracy that they run because of states and all that. So I'm trying to see if I keep it in Jersey, and it'll be moved. Like most shows have been moved this year and last year. So if I can get that going, so it's pretty much reviving things that COVID killed last year, and you know, staying in shape. I think was it the Montanari brothers just called me about guest posing in October.
Man, that gym's great.
Yeah, super gym, you know. So it's always great to have a workout over there. But they invited me to guest post, and I have to, I guess, get in shape and look somewhat decent to be up there and guest post for them because they're great guys, and I don't want to give them any less of a physique, you know, because I'm not competing, but I still have to show that I do have, you know, a presence to be a guest poser, especially for them in their shows. So that's the process. That's why I'm going. Wish me luck. Hopefully we'll get this lease, and please let me know about superhero. Any help will be definitely appreciated.
You know, the line's always open, brother. Well, we appreciate having you. Be sure to follow Victor and his new brands, and we'll see you. That's more motivation for me to fucking win that show.
Yeah.
Because we will see you as soon. The first trip we will schedule will be to see my boy Natural Body, Steve over there, Patrick, and of course hang out with you.
Yes, I know they're coming back. They're coming back. Hopefully strong.
It's game time, baby. Well, anyway, thank you so much, Victor. On behalf of
Mark, Matt, thank you guys.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.